Hey guys, John here. Today we are checking out the brand new Mooer GS1000Li Intelligent Amp Profiling Processor. That is quite a mouthful, but yeah, it's this little thing over here. It's small, it looks kind of cool, but it's quite impressive actually, so we're gonna have some fun with this thing. And of course, this is a device with a bunch of effects in it, and you can use this to capture your amplifiers, effects, cabinets, and all that good stuff. So in this video, we're going to capture an amplifier of mine, my ENGL Fireball 25 on the lead channel for a nice high gain tone. I'm also going to walk you through the capturing process so you guys can see how that works. And we're going to make a preset from scratch. But first, let's take a listen to a demo with the end result basically and see how this thing sounds. Check it out. Alright, that sounded great. I'm impressed. That was awesome. So the guitar that I used was my ESP EII Eclipse, the granite sparkle one with the double binding and the EMG pickup. So that's the EMG 57 in the bridge. It's a very simple preset with a noise gate, the amp that I profiled. And then in one section, I enabled a phaser just for fun. And in another section, I enabled a boost pedal, a tube screamer, just, for some tightness and aggression. So this is actually the first Mooer unit that I've ever tried. Is it Mooer or Mooer, or I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce it, but let's stick with Mooer. But I've heard many great things about them. And I think that they've had devices that do capturing for quite a while. So I was just really excited to try this out. And this is their brand new processor. And by the way, thank you so much to the folks at Mooer for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. Now, at the time of me making this video, they did not have a manual yet, so I can't explain everything about the unit. I do know most of the things that it's capable of though, but we're going to focus on the things that I find interesting and the most important. So what is this thing? Well, as you can see, it's quite compact. It has only 4 foot switches, a couple knobs and a touch screen. And you can compare this basically to a cross between a quad cortex and a nano cortex, so it's capable of more things than the nano cortex. It has way more effects, 340 factory effects to be precise. So you can go really crazy with the effects on this thing. It's a great multi-effect processor. You could also compare it to something like Tonex or the Kemper Player, because of course those devices enable you to load captures of your own amps. The great thing about this one though, in comparison to say the Tonex, is that you can make the captures on the device itself, just as on the Nano Cortex. So this definitely is competition to especially the Nano Cortex because it's also compact. It's not as small as the Nano Cortex, but it can do so much more. And as I said, there are 340 built-in effects. There are a bunch of built-in amp models, a power amp sim, and all that good stuff. And on top of that, you can create captures or profiles of your own amps, pedals, and gear. As I said, there's a touchscreen and it's quite easy to use and very responsive, which is nice. It does remind me of the hot tone stuff a little bit in terms of the interface and also in terms of the sound quality, the excellent sound quality, I must add. But yeah, moving around blocks and stuff is very easy. And overall, it's a quite simple interface. Also in terms of how you can tweak the amps and stuff, it's not very in-depth, which isn't a bad thing. If it sounds good, and then you don't really need to do all that tweaking. But that's just my opinion. Of course, you can also connect it to your PC and use the editor, which I'll do later in the video as well. That can make life easier, even though the user interface on the touchscreen is very easy by itself. You can use this as your audio interface. We have an effects loop, a stereo effects loop, I might add, 2 balanced jack outputs. We have your guitar in as well as a mic in with phantom power, a mic gain control as well, and then an expression pedal jack for connecting an expression pedal for wah, pitch effects and stuff like that. We also have a headphones out and a MIDI in and out, and this came with a little mini jack adapter to MIDI, so that's really convenient as well. There's also a fun groove station feature that you can access by pressing these switches at the same time. You can use this to play along with drum beats and as a looper and stuff like that. So that's a lot of fun. In terms of the buttons, as I said, the layout is very simple. We have a master volume control over here, then a home button, a save button, and a profiling button, which we'll get to in a minute, and then the select button, which you can also press. So you can use this to move through presets or move through the effects blocks in your chain, stuff like that. So it's very simple and straightforward. And of course, we also have the power button. And I should mention that this thing, to my surprise, has a battery. So I think you can use this thing without having power connected. So that is pretty cool. Imagine taking this on a train or on a plane or, you know, and just jamming along to some great tones without having to plug it into an outlet. That's quite cool. Now, as far as I know, you can select presets with the 4 buttons over here. And then there's also an intelligent scenes mode that you can use, you know, to change effects parameters and turn blocks on or off. I don't know how to use that just yet because of the lack of a manual, but that's very cool. You can also connect the Mooer F4 foot switch to this thing. It's a wireless foot switch that you can connect to this so you can have even more control over turning effects on or off and stuff like that. And those aren't expensive. I think they're like 50 euros or so, which is nice. And I also think that it looks cool. I like the LED lights and also the lights on the bottom. When you put this on your pedal board or wherever, you can see that light moving underneath it. So that's a really nice touch. You can even change the color of the LEDs in the menu. So that's really cool, a lot of fun. And I must also add that the tuner is quite good and quite accurate. So that's another cool little plus. Overall, I think that the unit is quite intuitive. It didn't take me long to learn how everything worked and stuff. But of course, once you get the unit with the user manual, you should be good to go in minutes, basically. Now, as you heard in the intro track, I made a capture or profile of my ENGL Fireball 25 amplifier on the lead channel. And I made a profile of my entire rig, basically. So it's the Fireball going into my Grossman Fatbox 1x12 ISO cab with the Hesu Demon speaker mic'd up with 2 SM57s and 1 MD421 Kompakt. Sounds really good. And I'm capturing that entire rig with the Mooer, basically. And the process of creating your own captures or profiles is quite easy. So you basically start by pressing on the profiling button, and then you get 4 sample options. We have a drive option, a preamp, an entire amp, and a cabinet. Of course, since I wanted to capture the entire rig, I'm going to go for the entire option. And then you see an entire profiling connection diagram, which shows you how to hook everything up. So that's really nice. And again, quite straightforward. And once you have everything hooked up, you click next. And then we get to the sample page and you can check the in and output levels here just to see that everything is connected. You know, play a couple chords and see if everything sounds good and if there is sound coming through. Once you can confirm that everything is connected, you can click on the sample button, and then the unit will send some profiling noises through your rig. As all profiling units do, basically, it's going to do some calculations and then create your model. Once you've done that, you can A/B the target and the model just to see how close it sounds. But usually they don't come out 100% accurate. So what you can do then is press on capture, do some simple playing, like some simple chords and stuff, and then it will make it sound even closer to the real deal. And that reminds me of the refining feature of the Kemper. So the process is kind of similar. And then once you're done, you will probably notice that it sounds a little bit closer to the real thing. In my opinion, pretty close, definitely close enough to have some really good fun. And this also probably, just as with all the other profiling units, depends on the type of amplifier and the type of tone that you're going for. And then you can change the gain amount, the volume, and also some EQ just to kind of fine tune the model. And once that's done, you can save the model and then use it in all your presets. So that is great. It's an easy process and it doesn't take too long. So again, in terms of the accuracy, I think this is pretty darn good. And the tones that I'm getting, not only are they very close to my amp, they're just a lot of fun to play, you know? So that's awesome. So what I'd like to do now is just create a little preset from scratch. My presets tend to be very simple, but just kind of show you guys how it works, how you make your presets using the computer editor. Let's have some fun. All right, so this is my current preset. And we're going to switch to an empty preset right now. There you go. So that's an empty signal chain. And what you can do is like change the type of signal chain, as you can see here. So you've got serial, dual, split, mix, and parallel. We're just going to stick with serial as that works for me, you know, most of the time. And what we're going to do now is start by loading up my amp capture, which in this section, the GNR section over here, you can see all the slots. So this is for your preamps. And this is for your entire rigs, which is what I've done for the Fireball. And we've loaded it up right now. And let's see how that sounds. Very nice. Sounds nice, rich and fat, and I love the character of my cabinet with that Hesu demon speaker loaded in. So I'm a simple guy. I don't like to use a lot of effects, but let's do some basic stuff. For instance, I'm going to load up a noise gate. Now there are a couple of noise gate options in here. I've used the noise killer earlier, and that worked really well. So I'm just going to load up that and raise the threshold a little bit, and let's see how that sounds. I don't need it to be super drastic, just need it to take care of some of the unwanted string noise and stuff like that. What I also sometimes like to do is add a little bit of subtle room reverb to make, to make the guitar sound a little bit more as if it's in a room, if you know what I mean. So we're going to add some reverb. Now let's try some of the different types just for fun. A hall is obviously a little bit too large for, what I'm looking for, but it sounds good. Flanger reverb, that's fun. So there's some really good effects in here. But I'm looking for a subtle room, so we're going to go with that, and let's see how the decay is. Let's raise the mix a little bit so we can hear the reverb better. So that sounds pretty good. It's a bit of a large room, so I'm going to lower the decay a bit. That works. Perfect. And then we're going to lower the mix again to around 20, and let's see how that sounds. Very nice. So again, it's meant to be subtle. It's just meant to make the sound a little bit more lively. Now let's try a mod effect. Sometimes I like to use a phaser for certain sections and stuff. Let's try some of these effects. That's basically what I'm looking for, but let's try some more. I also like that one a lot. Cool stuff. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff in here, and everything is really easy to dial in, so that's really cool. Let's go with the 6-stage analog phaser. Just going to raise the resonance a little bit to make it a little bit more drastic. Lower the rate so it's nice and slow. So that's just going to add some color, for certain sections of songs or maybe for a lead guitar here and there. Really nice. So that's what I usually do for a preset, and I keep it very simple, as you can see. Maybe I'll add a wah or a whammy pedal, but I don't have an expression pedal connected right now, but of course you can. But I know that a lot of people like to boost their amps, so let's boost this amplifier with an overdrive pedal in the overdrive section over here. And as you can see, you can also clone your pedals and add them in this section over here. So that's kind of cool. We're just going to go with one of the stock overdrive models. And let's try the Tube Screamer. So that must be an 808. Let's find it. There we go. The 808. Let's see how that sounds. Let me turn off that phaser for a sec. So this is a lot of gain. We're going to lower the gain all the way. Raise the tone a little bit and also raise the volume. Let's see how tight that sounds. Now let's turn it off. Now that works really well, to make things more modern and more tight. And as you can see, there are plenty of options to choose from, plenty of other flavors. So that's great. Cool, so that's it. I've basically only scratched the surface of what this thing can do. It's an impressive unit for sure. I mean, it looks simple, it's easy to work with, but you can get so much variety out of things in terms of the tones. You can capture your entire amp collection. You can capture pedals separately. They all come in different categories, so it's all arranged very neatly. I think you can share all your profiles online as well. And again, the capture accuracy is quite good and a lot of fun, especially once you do that sort of refining or capture process that brings the sound even closer to the real amplifiers. Now at this point, I don't know what the pricing will be of these units since they're not for sale yet, but I expect them to be quite affordable, and I'll put some links in the description below so you can check them out for yourself at my affiliate links. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with the Mooer GS1000Li, and if you like capturing amplifiers or just want a cool multi-effect unit, this might be great for you. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below regarding this unit. I'd love to know. Also, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as that really helps the channel out. That would be great. You can also follow me on Sonic Drive Studios Facebook and Instagram pages. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy something in my affiliate links or check out my Ko-Fi web store where I sell impulse responses of my cabinet with various speakers. Thanks again to Mooer for sponsoring this video. Really appreciate it. Yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you guys soon. Cheers.